Oklahoma has the highest women's incarceration rate in the U.S. Many women in jail are being accused of minor crimes.
70% of our jail are people that are held pretrial, so they have not been convicted of a crime. They are simply held in jail because they don't have enough money to post a cash bond.
Throughout the country, women are the fastest growing correctional population, and majority of those women are moms.
At the time I was arrested and booked into Tulsa County Jail, I was raising my 17-year-old daughter, my 14-year-old son, my 5-year-old son, and my 2-year-old granddaughter.
My twins were 7 and my oldest daughter was 11. There's nobody in the jail system that you can go to ask for help in trying to contact your children or making it to where you can maybe get visitation or anything like that.
I did not see my granddaughter, who I raised, or my youngest son that whole time. They weren't allowed to enter. There were no visitation for children of that age with mothers. And that was painful. I was all they knew, and I was their provider, and it was just gut-wrenching.
These moms can lose complete contact with their children if they aren't able to afford phone calls or video calls.
If you don't have family or somebody to put money on your phone to be able to call people, there's nothing you can do about it.
When a mom is jailed, she may not receive information about her child's whereabouts, including if her child is in the foster care system or if there's a custody proceeding in family court.
I was never given any notice of the hearings. Was never told I could be transported to the hearings. I mean, I didn't know anything about them. I had no clue.
April lost custody of her eldest daughter while in jail. She's still fighting to get her back. Prior to going to jail, most moms are struggling to make ends meet. Even after release, that task is made that much harder. They oftentimes now have a record, which makes it difficult to find jobs, which makes it difficult to find housing. They now have fines and fees and court costs that are piled on that they need to pay. And if they don't pay, they run the risk of going to jail.
Came back out, I didn't have a job, I had nowhere to live at that time. I waited about 2 weeks, I started selling drugs again because that's how I was gonna eat.
I pay about $350 a month in fines and costs currently. I couldn't provide housing and food and clothing and utilities and all the other needs of myself and my children and pay these monthly amounts.
I think if we're really talking about justice, we're not just looking at, people don't exist in vacuums. So looking at families and communities and how are people impacted, and so kids should be taken into account. If it's safe for that parent to be with their child or children, fulfilling their parental duties, that's better for our community.
Oh, beautiful flower. I would say that everyone makes mistakes, and just because you made a mistake one time in your life or you hit a rough patch, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed to be a part of your children's life no more. People change. So I just hope to have my family back, to have a family unit where they're all together.
Oklahoma should consider a person's primary caretaker status at every stage of the criminal system. They should end their reliance on money bail as a primary method of pretrial release. You can let more people out of jail without risking the safety of the community so that parents are not separated from their children for long periods of time.